Hey everyone. So today we have Stanley here, who is just 6 months old. A little ragdoll who we are giving his very first groom to. So this is all new for us. And okay guys, it's me again, trying the voiceover for video technique again, because I kind of liked it last time. What can we expect today in this video with Stanley? He's a very cute little kitten, ragdoll, about 6 months old, and broadly speaking, this is a pretty good first-time grooming experience. I basically edit this down to about 9 minutes to try and give a pretty accurate reflection of how it went. Overall, he was very good, a little bit wriggly, but that's completely unsurprising given his age. And he's a sweetheart, so you just have fun working with him, really. I've realised as well, in terms of providing you with lots of backstory on what Stanley's like at home, I'd be lying if I said any real idea. I really only meet these cats and get to know them in the time that they're in my salon. Although I'd love to make up backstories for them, I'll leave that for today. And crudely starting to get a bit of an outline for how I want to talk to you guys. I'm going to start with housekeeping, which is like the segment I always want to open with. What am I going to say about housekeeping today? Sort of nothing really to think of. Still playing with the ideas of how this channel is going to evolve, etc. Still maintain I want to have fun making them, but these are almost notes to myself. So, one thing came up as an idea. Shout out to a podcast I listened to, Beyond the Racing Line, the Formula One podcast by fans for fans, and they kind of do segments basically. So I think I'm going to try to introduce segments for myself to talk to and you guys to listen. And so I thought the first segment that I'd introduce is responding to viewers' comments. So far I've put out, I want to say about 12 videos. I don't think I've got any comments yet. So can't really say anything to that. Hey, just jumping in over this video. I actually got a bunch of comments since I released the first video, and this one's taken a little while to come out. So still in the final stages of editing, but wanted to just jump in and say thanks for all those comments, and I'll get back to them soon. But enjoy the rest of this video. Moving on, what else? Anyone who's got any comments for ideas of what I can talk about, please let me know. What else? Last time I was talking about how I think a good analogy for cat groomers is to think of us as cricketers or baseball players, if you will. And one thing I think I left off is that I think is pertinent, relevant, is in the same way that, if you're a young sort of sports player of any sport, really, you start to realise you're better at one role than another or one sport than another. So to keep the cricket thing going, maybe you realise you're a good bowler fairly early on and you just get better and better at that because that was the thing that was giving you success nice and early, and before you know it, you're a professional bowler, not a batsman. I think the same is kind of true for cat groomers. There's lots of different styles out there that we can use and work with, but I think you start to lean in what works best for you nice and early. So I'm never going to be sort of critical of other groomers and the way that they go about it. I think that we identify something in our skills that works well with the cats, and we sort of just lean more and more into that. So that pretty much ended the last bit of the cricket analogy that I could think of. I think I said in the last video I'll talk more about things that I say to clients on a fairly regular basis. I'll throw in a quick PSA. Really don't recommend doing a lot of what you're seeing, trying to do it yourselves. The techniques of keeping them calm are it's easy to look at and say, oh, that doesn't look too difficult, but to try and do it's another thing. Kind of like watching like a professional tennis player. You think you can play tennis, but like they're just very different skills. Not to say that I'm a particularly good tennis player, but yeah, where's my train of thought? Yeah, so I think I'm going to try basically just coming up with more analogies to describe how I work. I think one of my favoured ones is to describe myself as a dentist, which is to say, you know, the dentist, when you go to the dentist, he's not trying to hurt you or she. A lot of people don't like going to the dentist and they get nervous. And cats can absolutely be like that too. So can people when they bring their cats to me for the first time. They can be nervous on their cat's behalf. So, but you know, when you're in the chair, I know that my dentist isn't trying to hurt me. And actually, genuinely true. Never really liked going to the dentist. Since doing this job, I've become a much better patient in the dental chair. And I've had a few root canals as well. So, yeah, I've definitely seen my fair share of him in the last few years. But yeah, I've just learned that there's nothing for me to really do but just try and relax. So I used to sort of white knuckle the chair and just sort of, I guess, yeah, be in a kind of state of mild panic for most of it. But now I'm just sort of taking lessons from the chill cats, and I've just noticed it helps a lot. And there's even been a couple of times where I've honestly nearly fallen asleep in the chair. I think the thing that helps me though is I put in headphones, so I don't hear the noise quite so much. But yeah, back to cats and dentists. So how does this analogy hold? Yeah, the dentist isn't trying to hurt me. I'm not trying to hurt the cats. And I think we both actually know that as well. I think the dentist works also because a dentist can tell when you've been brushing and flossing. And we can too as cat groomers. I can tell when the cat's being brushed regularly or semi-regularly or not nearly enough or not quite as well. So a little tip is it's the back third of the cat on the top. So it's like the pantaloons, I call them, sort of near the tail. And yeah, I also like to say it's better to go to the dentist for like a checkup than it is to go in for a root canal. And, you know, in my case, that's like preventative grooming, sort of scheduled maintenance grooming is much better than, you know, pelt and mat removal. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and, you know, I don't floss as much as I should. And I think people, if they just stay on top of their brushing, that's probably the best sort of PSA I could offer, really. Every cat groomer worth their salt will recommend a comb, not a brush. And yeah, Woolies in Australia are selling a really good $10 pet comb in the pet aisle, and that's what I'm recommending, at least at the moment, as a good brush. How much time have I got? 8. I've got about 3 minutes. So last time I was filled with confidence because it took me. I had a 7-minute video to fill the time of, and I was surprised how quickly that time went. Now I'm kind of looking at my notes and going, what can I talk about? I've got physics, but I'm halfway through writing a blog post that may never get published, and I think the title that I'm working with at the moment is Cats are Quantum and Some are Made of Antimatter and Other Musings. Yeah, so you may or may not be familiar with the Schrodinger's like idea, the cat in a box, and it's like, is it alive or dead? Generally speaking, I'm not going to talk about anything relating to cats' mortality on this. So let me pivot quickly and say I think my observation is more on the observer effect that some people can talk about. Oh, wow. Time's nearly up already. Okay. I'll have to continue that later. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.